Hello again. Here we are with Freddy Segura. Um, First of all, I would like to introduce to Freddy. Freddy is a Salvadorian teacher who has been involved in the educational environment for the last 23 years as a teacher, teacher training, and coordinator. He holds a TOEFL diploma from Don Bosco University and a Bachelor in Education from Universidad Pedagógica de El Salvador.
He has overseen projects for several academic institutions and given talks around Mexico, Central and South America, and is now part of the academic council at Prolex from Universidad de Guadalajara. He strongly believes in the power of education to change the world. So let's give welcome to Freddy. Well, this is your stage. We have here to your audience, so be welcome, and this is your microphone.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Dante and Irma. It's always a pleasure to be here. This is my third participation in Recrea. I'm gonna go ahead in English. They were asking us is Spanish or English, and they said, well, let's go for it in English. Anyways, presentations in English. Thanks everybody, the ones that are joining us. Thanks for being here. Uh, it's 5 o'clock. We're tired. We want to go home. We want to sleep. We want to eat. But thanks for being. Thanks for holding up to the last moment of the day. And basically, I think what we're going to do is a brief talk, and it's like a summary of all the things that we have kind of discussed. I was saying in the morning, I participated in the opening this morning, and kind of like the opening was my talk at the same time. It was interesting because when we were discussing about it, I was like, that's something I'm going to say. That's something I'm going to say. So I felt like what we're going to do is a wrap up of today. And it's very interesting because artificial intelligence has been thought in, it's interesting the way we were pushed into changing everything one day to another, thanks to the pandemic, and how everything was different, and we had to adapt to new formats, we had to adapt to new systems, we had to adapt to everything that was happening around the world. Education changed immediately after COVID. And even though technology made us go further, our students are still behind. But we are here. This is what we have now. And in the morning, one of the speakers said something that it has kept ringing all over the day. It's adapt and adopt, or adopt and adapt. You choose the order in which you want to use it. And we're here to adapt our teaching techniques and our teaching methodologies to what we have now adopted. And this is that artificial intelligence and technology are here to stay. We like it or not, they're here to stay. It's still a process and we still have to get used to it, but we'll talk about it a little bit more in depth right now. Okay, we're going to summarize a bit of the information that maybe you've been discussing. So, is artificial intelligence a friend or a foe? What is that? Do I like it? Do I not like it? Do I love it or not? Let's start with clarifying what is artificial intelligence in education. Okay, because we can talk a lot about Alexa, we can talk about many different artificial intelligences, but what does it do in education? How does it reflect, or how do we apply it in our area? AI in education refers to the use of machine learning algorithms, natural language processing, and other AI technologies to enhance, this is very important, we want to enhance learning experiences, improve administrative efficiency, and provide data-driven insights. Okay, so what do we mean by this? We want to make learning better. Okay, I said in the morning, why fix something that's not broken? The idea behind using artificial intelligence in the classroom is not that we're going to fix something that needs repair. It's that we're going to make it better. It's that we want to make it more attractive for our students. We were discussing in the morning that there's a huge gap between some teachers and our students, because many of our students do know how to use technology. Many of our students live with technology day by day. I make a joke and I normally say that kids nowadays are not put to bed, they're connected to charge. because they're digital natives and they enjoy using digital resources at every moment. Okay, so the intention is that we enhance education in the classroom. We make it more interesting, we make it more attractive. Okay, that's why we're trying, or we want to use artificial intelligence in the classroom. Not because we want to substitute the teacher, but because we want that the teacher has more and better resources for the class. That's basically the intention, that we want to make your life, I mean, whatever AI you're using, we wanted to make your life easier in the class. And that's maybe the first thing we have to keep in mind as teachers. Because normally, one of the first thoughts that came to a teacher's minds when we heard of artificial intelligence was it's going to take our jobs. But no, it's here to make your life easier. That's one of the first things we have to keep in mind. And by enhancing learning, we want students to feel more comfortable with this. We want them to feel more comfortable in the classroom. We want them to feel that they can reach these resources, use these resources, and apply them in real life. Okay, so that's what we mean by enhancing learning. But also, we want to improve administrative efficiency. One of the most boring things to me as a teacher, I might say, is writing down the grades in the list, grading papers. It's like I love applying exams. Administering exams is one of the funniest things that I can do as a teacher, but I hate grading papers. Grading papers is a nightmare and a headache, and it takes more time than what we actually get paid for. And we all know that. Grading papers takes a lot of time, but AI helps you with that. AI helps you controlling attendance. AI helps you with all these administrative things that take time in the classroom. So one of the intentions of applying artificial intelligence in education is to provide you with tools that help you make it more efficient in the classroom, so that you keep better control of attendance, so that you keep better control of grades, so that it's easier for you to grade exams and homework at the end of the day. Who hasn't spent hours on end checking 30, 40, 50 exams because tomorrow is deadline? Okay. But artificial intelligence helps us with this. It provides us with easier methods and techniques so that we can check and we can have these administrative roles set better. And it provides data driven insights, because it's not just what you do, it's not just what I do, it's not just what my neighbors do, it's what we all do. And all the information is collected, transformed, and applied for then the next time it's used in a better way. Okay, so we are a collective community working on it. We are all working together, improving the AI, and whatever input we provide to the AI, it uses it and it modifies, and it's being improved constantly so that the next time you reach this AI, it has better options for you. It has better solutions for you. Okay, so we have to see it from this perspective. The intention is to enhance, to improve, and to provide insights. Okay. Now, what are some of the advantages of using AI in the classroom? One of them, real-time feedback. As soon as your students finish working, or as soon as your students finish doing something, there's feedback. How did I do? Because that's the first question your students ask when they finish an exam. Teacher, how did I do? Right? And then it's like, okay, well, you did well, you did. Let me check. I'll tell you tomorrow. Let me check. I'll tell you next week. But AI gives you instant feedback. So students know where they have to work, and you know where you need to work with them. Personalized learning. Whatever you're doing within the AI, it's provided by you, by your insights, because you know your students. It's not just a textbook made somewhere in the world and given to everybody at the same time. It's something, it's information, it's an activity, it's research based on your needs, based on your students' needs. So whatever is going on in this process, whatever activity you're bringing is adapted to your needs. Okay, so it's more realistic, it's personalized. It's 24/7 tutoring. Why? Because the AI is there. It's always there. Okay, only if it's going under maintenance, maybe it might not, but it's going to be there forever. It's going to be there online. So if a student has a question, because they normally have questions at 11 p.m., one day before, because that's when they're doing the homework, AI is there. They don't have to be sending a WhatsApp message to the teacher because they can reach AI. Or if the teacher needs help planning the lesson one night before, we know that we can reach AI and it will provide help at any moment. Another advantage is an automated administrative tasks. As I was saying before, attendance, scores, keeping track of the information, finding where we can help our students improve is there. You don't have to sit and read and analyze and discuss what's next. Everything is done there. You just have to double check, which is less consuming of time, but it will help you improve in these senses. Okay, so these are some of the advantages. There's many more that I'm sure we have discussed during the whole day, but these are maybe some that I can share with you that I have found about using AI as a teacher. What are the disadvantages? Technological dependency. Someone in the morning was saying that it normally, or it can happen, that we use AI to solve every problem in our class or to solve every problem as a student. And when that happens, then there's a problem because we stop depending on our brains and we start depending on technology. This is a disadvantage. And then students want to do everything online, or I've known some teachers that want to have AI design their whole curricula and their whole lesson plans for the whole semester. And that's not good because even though, yes, you're providing the information for the AI to think and to progress and to program based on your needs, it's not 100% realistic. Okay. So we tend to depend too much on technology or on things that tend to make our life easy. That's why we live 24/7 on our cell phones. And that's why, as I was saying in the morning, we don't do math problems with our brains anymore. We ask the calculator to solve it for us because we depend a lot on technology. Okay, so it becomes like a drug, and we get addicted to it. And the more we use it, the more we want it, and the more we want it, the more we use it. It's a cycle. Another disadvantage is the risk of error or bias. Okay, we were also discussing in the morning. I think it was Maestro Gustavo that was saying that when it all started, there were a lot of mistakes that were made by artificial intelligence. And one of the examples he mentioned, and I kept it in my mind also, was that they asked ChatGPT to describe an apple has, which he was saying is the combination of an apple and an avocado, and that doesn't exist. But the AI provide them a full description of what it was. It's a mistake because the AI only gives you what you ask for. The AI does not check if it's true or if it's false. It just provides an answer to a question. Okay, so there might be mistakes. We've also seen it in many cases where students ask for an information with references and everything, and AI provides references, but when you cross check the references, they don't exist. So one of the disadvantages is this: there's error that you need to double check. Okay, but if you depend so much on technology, you will skip this part. Another that has been very much discussed a lot when we talk about AI is privacy concerns. Okay, because I've seen a lot, and I follow these authors on online, and one of them was discussing that there was a book published under his name that did not belong to him, but it was published online. Why? Because somebody typed in information similar to what he writes and asked the intelligence to write a book with those criteria. And then that can happen. I mean, we're still debating the ethical part of artificial intelligence. But if you control it, if you manage it, if you know it, if you learn it, and if you play with it, I mean, we can put aside these aspects because, again, whatever we're doing or whatever projects we're developing with AI, they should not be 100% for summative assessment, but more formative assessment. And then it's just for your students to practice. It's just for your students to learn the skill, develop the skill. And in order for them to ask GPT, for example, to write a paragraph, they need to give input to ChatGPT. And by giving the right input, they're also processing information. But we also have to teach them to double check the information that ChatGPT produces. So by double checking, by moving the information from here to whatever you're asking them to provide you with, they're also using their skills and their sub skills to learn the language. But again, it depends on how much you get involved in the process. And then there's a risk of cheating. Basically, it's that. I mean, it's not theirs. It was done by something else, but it's not theirs. Okay. Again, should we use artificial intelligence for formative assessment or summative assessment? That's another criteria. That's another conversation. But I leave it here so we can talk about it later. Okay. And then something that is true and it's sad what happens with artificial intelligence, but it's also happening with technological resources, is the lack of human interaction. Students don't talk to each other anymore. Students don't enjoy going outside. Students don't enjoy playing outside. They rather stay in with their cell phone in hand. Okay. And artificial intelligence, it's like an extra added to this, because then they don't ask the teacher. You don't ask your colleagues. There's no interaction between people, but a person and a computer. Okay. So we need to learn to limit the use of these resources, not because it's not okay, but because it can be addictive and it can restrain our communication with others. So far, so good, I hope. And I took this information from the British Council survey. They published their results maybe around a month or a month and a half ago. They conducted a survey around the world, wherever there's a British Council office, about the use of AI in English language teaching. And they found out that AI powered tools teachers use, 48% of it was used for language learning apps. 37% of this was used for language generation AIs. 31% was used on chatbots. 24% on none of them. 22% on automated grading. 21 for speech recognition software. 19 text to speech tools. 12% for data and learning analytics, and 7% for virtual and augmented reality. Okay, so basically it means that teachers are using most of the AI tools for language learning apps. That's where we're focusing mostly around the world. Okay, after that, it's language generation activities and chatbots. Those are maybe the three most important ways or resources that teachers are using. What for? What do you use these resources for? We use these resources for creating materials. Okay, that's one of the reasons why we're using them, to create materials, to create worksheets, to create reading text or something. We're using them to help learners practice the use of English with 57, 53%. You see, it's very near. Okay, so like an extra support for the students to learn. That's one of the reasons we're using the AI tools. We're using AI tools to create lesson plans. Good for them. We're using 33% of AI tools to correct learners' English, 23% to grade or assess learners, 19% to administer the tasks, right? So basically, it means that teachers around the world are using AI tools, the ones we talked about before, to create materials. Okay. Why do you think we do this? I think if we go a little bit back to what I was saying, it's because we can personalize the resources. We can personalize the materials. We can make materials or generate materials that are interesting to our students. Okay. We're not going to be using Let It Be anymore in class. Let It Be was for my teachers, not for my students anymore. So if we ask AI for information and resources, we're going to find resources that are more appealing to them. Okay, so that's a good use of AI. But also, I find it interesting, teachers are using AI tools to create lesson plans. This is risky in a way because, again, it's your class, it's your students, right? You know them, you know what's best for them. But AI, and I have done it, AI gives you very interesting suggestions of activities that you can do if you ask the right question, right? And by giving you these resources, you just adapt, and it's easier to adapt than to think of a whole lesson to start creating and preparing materials. So this information from the survey conducted by the BBC is very interesting because maybe we have thought that the only thing that teachers were or that people were using AI for in education was just to practice the language, right? And it's not just that. See, it's very interesting to discover that we are using AI for more than this. Maybe we're already learning to use it in the right way. So, is AI good or bad? Mm, difficult or easy? It's an interesting question. I think it's good. I think it's a resource that can help us. It's a resource that will provide support to the teacher. But as everything in life, it could be bad if we don't know how to use it or if we use it in an inappropriate way. See, this is like food. Food's good. Take it from me. Food's good. But it's bad when you take it to this point where it affects your health. Same thing happens with AI. It's good because it's easy, it's practical, it's adaptive, and it can help you in your classes. But it's bad, again, if we depend too much on it or if we allow it to control everything that we're doing in the class. Will AI take the place of the teacher? Definitely not. Why not? Because we still need human contact. I think we've talked about this a lot during this day. I just heard it with Luke. We talked about it in the morning. Yes, it provides you with resources. Yes, it provides you with activities. But that smile that you give to your students in the morning, that look that says, come on, you can do it. That is something that AI can never produce, or at least until this moment, it can't. That pat on the back, telling your students that they can do better, that you trust in them, that's something that AI until today cannot produce. So if you ask me today, will AI take the place of the teacher? I don't think so. Because machines can't feel. I mean, they can replicate something similar to emotions, but it's not an emotion. And what moves a class, in my opinion, is the emotions. It's really interesting when you come to the class and you're not feeling well, your students perceive it. And they're like, hey, la teacher no se siente bien. They just see you and they know how you're feeling and they act based on your feelings. So this connection that happens in the classroom between teacher and students will never be replaced, at least for the moment, by artificial intelligence. My perception, right? So are our jobs at risk? I don't think so. And again, AI is not a teacher. It's, as we've been saying the whole day, it's a resource. It's a means to get to where we want to get. So don't worry, it won't take our job. That's for one side. The emotional part of it is that. The realistic part of it, AI requires money, AI requires equipment, AI requires things that are still difficult and inaccessible for many of our students and for many of our schools as well. Okay, so if in any case it happens, it will be, we won't see it. I don't think we'll see that because we don't have the money, we don't have the resources, we don't have the equipment. Okay, and it's still not happening. So don't worry about it and take advantage of the tools that we have. Take advantage of AI and make it work for you. How? How can I take advantage of it? First of all, learning. A good teacher never stops learning. And maybe that's one of the issues we have with AI, that it's making us study again. And we're like, I mean, I'm leaving my comfort zone because I have all my materials ready. I have all my classes ready. I know what I'm going to do. But using AI in the right way implies that we have to read, implies that we have to study. Someone in the chat in the morning, it called my attention, mentioned that she has already paid or and taken two courses with a related to AI so that she can use them better in class. And now she feels more comfortable with using this technology. And I praised her because very few of us are interested in continuing studying. But I also praise those who have. Good job if you're already taking courses. Good job if you're already reading for more information about AI because it's here. It's not going anywhere. It's staying forever. So we need to study again. We need to read more information. We need to learn how to use it. Once you learn how to use it, once you master it, it's going to be easy for you to use it in class. I mean, it's going to be a piece of pie. How can you use AI in teaching? I think this, you've already discussed it a lot, but you can use it for ideas for a class. Ask GPT for whatever you want. GPT, I have an level 1 English students, and I need an activity for them to speak. And they give you activities for them to speak. Some are decent, some are good. Most of them you need to work on them, but it gives you ideas. Okay, because at the end of the day, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 classes per week. I don't know. Thinking of ideas for every class is complicated, it's tiring. So why not ask ChatGPT? Why not ask an AI for ideas? Then you polish them, but it's easier to polish the idea than to spend the whole afternoon thinking of ideas. We can also prepare grammar or vocabulary activities. We're not a grammar book. We're not even in Spanish. And there are some rules that might skip our abilities or that we might not feel that confident about. Why not ask ChatGPT or why not ask any of these artificial intelligences to help us provide grammar activities or vocabulary exercises? Different from repeat after me. Show them a flashcard and have them repeat the words. It can provide you with interesting ideas on how to work with vocabulary and grammar. Generate texts to read. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not, depending especially on the level of your students, because most of the texts that we can find online are, I don't know, A2, B1, and above. It's very difficult to find A1 readings for teenagers, for example. You can find A1 readers for children, you can find A1 readers for adults, but for teenagers, it's very difficult. Why not ask an artificial intelligence to provide you a text that will help your students, your teenager students, beginners, fall in love with reading in English? It's difficult because we don't read in Spanish, but why not ask them to generate an interesting text that captures their attention in English? Give it a try. We can generate assessments, quizzes, and many of the game platforms that we have, like Kahoot and quizzes and all of these, are now incorporating artificial intelligence. Give them a try. Instead of you providing all of the information and giving a PDF and giving all of the questions, make 2 or 3 questions and then ask the AI from the website to generate the other ones. You'll be amazed by the options. Some, again, are a little bit wild, but some are really interesting and work well for your students. Another idea of something that you can do with an artificial intelligence and ELT is create activities from existing videos or texts. If you already have the text, if you already have a video on YouTube that you want to use, or a TED Talk that you find that it's interesting, why not ask the AI to provide you with the following up activities, with the comprehension activities from this that is real, that is authentic, that you know where it comes from? But again, you have to watch it completely and then think of your students and then think of the questions, and then it takes a lot of time. Why not, if you know that there's that video, if you've used this video before, why not ask the AI to help you with the questions and the follow-up activities? It's just an option, right? Now, what are some, these are not all, but these are just some that I have found that are interesting that you can use. We have Twee, we have Diffit, we have Grammarly, we have Can Say, we have Memorize, we have Skybox. Skybox, I learned it today. It's a really interesting one. It generates images. You know how difficult it is sometimes to find free pictures. And then we get these images from Skybox, and then you ask Skybox to generate an image of whatever park, people at the beach, something. You just give the idea of whatever you want the picture to have, and Skybox creates the picture. And then from this picture, you can ask questions to your students. You can introduce vocabulary. Okay, Memorize is really good for them to practice English or practice any language, actually, right? Grammarly helps you correct. As I was saying before, sometimes we have issues with grammar. It's okay. Grammarly helps you correct them. Why not? Right? Or Grammarly helps you check whatever your students hand in. Okay. Diffit helps you creating quizzes. Okay. Twee helps you a lot with generating text or generating questions from a YouTube video. So you just upload the video to Twee, and Twee creates the questions for you. Okay. Kansei helps you with working with speaking. Okay. It generates communicative activities or conversations that you can use. So why not give it a try? Okay. Someone in the morning was saying that artificial intelligence is not only internet. I beg to differ, because we need to be online, because it works with data from all over the world and from all of the users. So yes, it does require internet. In that sense, we have to again understand better how these things work, and it does imply that we need resources. It does imply maybe investing a little bit, but it helps us with making these activities better for our students, making the classes more interesting for them. Okay, so why not? Um, I want to close with these ideas, these key takeaways. AI power tools can be used for a range of ELT tasks. Okay, it's not just to make worksheets, it's not just to make lesson plans. There are so many different things that we can do in the class with AI power tools. Just give it a try, just play with it, understand it. AI tools can benefit the development of all four skills and sub skills fairly equally. Okay, so you can use AI for listening, for speaking, for reading, for writing, for grammar, for vocabulary. Whatever it is that you need, you can use these tools to help your students develop their learning. Teachers generally feel that they have not received enough AI specific training. This, I think, is the key element for what we're discussing today. We need to learn more about AI. But if we're waiting for somebody to give us a training, for somebody to give us a workshop, for somebody to give us a whole course on it, maybe like today you've had the opportunity, but how often do you have the opportunity of this? You have to look for it. Okay, if we're just waiting for somebody to provide us with the learning, maybe it won't come. Okay, it's our responsibility as teachers to look for the information. It's our responsibility to grow in this sense. So it just takes some time and a little bit of money, sometimes a little bit more than what we expect, but come on, it's an investment that's going to make our classes better. It's worth it. I mean, how much money do we spend on a night out? How much money do you spend at the cinema? Right? How much money do you spend on your cell phone just for having the phone? Because una mica and this and that. Think about it. I'm not trying to criticize, I'm just giving you food for thought. Okay? It's we say es un gasto. I think it's not that. It's an investment because you're improving your teaching abilities by using these tools better. Okay? And the last one, for the time being, English language teaching will remain in the hands of the educators. Okay? English language teaching is our responsibility. We're using these tools to make it better. We're using these tools to make it more interesting, to make it more appealing, but it's not taking our job. But if we're not using them correctly, it could. Because if we make mistakes in the classroom, that's our responsibility. And if you're not using them correctly, you could affect the learning of your students. So take responsibility, enjoy the use of them, and have fun in the classroom. Thank you guys very much, and it's been a pleasure.
Okay, Freddy, it's a pleasure to have you here again. And we have a question for you, one last question. Um, and so I hope it's a good question for you. And the question is going to be for all teachers who feel like insecure about using some apps or technology. Which one do you think that is the best web page or app to use as a beginner in technology?
I think the friendliest and the one that helps maybe the most as for us as teachers, I would go for ChatGPT. I mean, and the free version. You don't have to pay ChatGPT for the better versions, which are really cool. But I mean, just by using the free version, it provides you with so many ideas. It provides you with so much information, and it's really helpful. Again, you have to read and proofread whatever it gives you, but it's the friendliest, in my opinion, for teachers to start playing and getting close to AI.
Okay, amazing. Definitely, it's a very interesting topic. So thank you so much, Freddy. As a friend, as a colleague, I thank you so much and give you this gift. Okay, as a thank you, and really thank you so much for being here. I hope that we could share later, maybe in another time for another academic space and continue learning. Thank you. Really, I truly say that by my heart.
Thank you very much.
And I'm giving you this too. Thank you very much. From all our hearts, in the name of all our direction, it's a pleasure to have you here. As you said, it's the third time that you are here with us, and we hope, yeah, excellent. And we hope to have you again next year. So thank you very much, Freddie.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Freddie. So, to all of you friends that are still there, to the ones that were here in the morning, and to the ones that still being here, we want to say thank you for sharing this space with all of us. We are really happy to have you again here this year. It's been a challenge for all of us, and we hope that you enjoy a lot, that you get a lot of ideas, techniques, methodologies, and we are doing everything not just for you, but for all of our students that are the ones that are receiving all of these methodologies and strategies and learning together. So I want to say thank you to all our guests, to Freddy, to all of our friends, where it was a very rich part. And I want to say too, thank you, Irma, for all. I want to say that this was it. Well, it's always a pleasure to have you working with me, and thank you very much. I'm giving you the microphone so you can say your closing words.
Well, thank you. That's the biggest thing here. I know that it was maybe terrific because it was for all the day that we have to be here working. But thank you so much. It's a really pleasure to be here with you. with all of you, okay, here and there in your home. Bueno, pues básicamente eso sería todo por parte de la Dirección de Lenguas Extranjeras. Básicamente dejamos lo mejor para el final. Para hacer el cierre con broche de oro. Y en este momento los invitamos a que nos acompañen a la clausura, el cual va a ser en el foro.
Sí, les pedimos por favor, ya ahorita siendo las 5:45 de la tarde, damos por concluida nuestra cuarta Feria de Lenguas Extranjeras y pues invitarlos al escenario principal, a la transmisión en vivo, donde va a ser la clausura general de nuestra sexta edición de Recrea Academy. Pues nada, me queda nada más que decirles que, teachers, a seguirle echando muchas ganas, seguir trabajando por nuestros chicos y pues ha sido un honor. Que tengan una excelente tarde. Vayan por favor a la clausura para cerrar con broche de oro y que estén muy bien.